this is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from New Albany, Indiana, and began wrestling in 2018 at the Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Academy, where she trained under Raul Lamada and Rudy Switchblade. She's worked for such promotions as Girl Fight Wrestling, St. Louis Anarchy, Black Label Pro, Zawa, Action Wrestling, GCW, Paradigm, to name a few. Along the way, shared the ring with the likes of Alice Crowley, Sean Kemp, Cole Radrick, Sky Blue, Laney Luck, Shotzi Blackheart, Don't Die Miles, Matthew Justice, and I could go on. If you don't already have IWTV, go get it, and you can check out her matches there. So let's welcome today's guest, the Blue Gremlin, Space Jesus, Billie Starkz. Hey, Billie, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for giving me this. It's a Thursday. Yeah, thank you for giving me time on a Thursday afternoon. I'll make sure I push it along so I don't stain any part of your day.
You're completely
Can I ask
fine.
you? Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions at the start that maybe don't fit together, but I promise we'll go in like a more organized fashion after that. Space Jesus, and I'm sure you get asked this every single interview, but I have to do it. Where did that come from? And then secondly, did anyone ever get offended that you were using Jesus? I'm assuming you're talking about the main Jesus, Jesus Christ, the most popular one. Did anyone get like offended that you're using that?
So I really never ran into a problem with that, which is really, really surprising. But this all like sprouted from a tattoo that was on this guy's chest. It was an alien Jesus walking across water. So we nicknamed it Space Jesus, and I was like, you know what, that kind of sounds cool. And it was a joke going around, and I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna be introduced at that as like a joke for my friends and me. And then it just stuck. I was like, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, and it took. So you're saying you did not get a letter from Christianity saying cease and desist using our main guy's name?
I've never had a problem with it. And like I got worried at one point because I was wrestling in a synagogue, and I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna ask about this before I would just like say, hey, can this be my entrance stuff? Is this okay? And there was no problems. I was like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna go with it.
Was the rabbi like a referee for on this occasion?
Was just he was there, and I talked to him and his kids, and he was super nice. And like they even have some of my merch and stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, they'll start making yarmulkes with your name on it. I'll buy one. I'm Jewish. I'll buy one. I'll represent Judaism, and I'll buy them from you. Okay, the next kind of out of place question: what's Pawcade?
Pawcade was a show that happened in Salem. It was to raise money for a shelter, and it ended up raising so much money. I was so happy to be a part of it. It was a show I got to wrestle Hoodfoot, cool. And it was a real good time.
And so the dogs now or pets are living in style now because of this.
Oh,
evening.
yes.
Yeah,
They had a grand old time, and I actually brought my bunny to the show, so Thumper was chilling at my merch table during the show, and everybody got to see Thumper in public.
Did the rabbit get nervous being around all those people?
So my rabbit usually just hides, but then it will relax once it gets like used to its environment. And the entire time he was there, he was like cuddling up on people, and he was like really relaxed, and I was really shocked.
Oh, wow.
So he just kind of mellowed out after like I think what originally freaked him out was the car ride. He was like, "Oh crap, where are we going?" Because usually when
Yeah.
he's in the car, it's been to go get his nails clipped or to like do other stuff, and he's like, "I don't
Uh-huh.
like this." But the time we got to the show, he was like, "Oh, everybody just wants to love on me, so it's fine."
Yeah, I'm not being sent anywhere. Can I ask you now some rabbit questions?
hmm
Did you grow up with rabbits as pets?
No, this happened over the quarantine. I got a bunny.
How did you decide that over like a cat or a dog or something?
So I already have two dogs, and it was actually like a joke that I wanted ducks, and my friend went to go buy me ducks, and they were out of them, so he brought me a bunny instead, and I was like, oh my God, because he calls me and he's like, hey, brown, white, or black, and I was like, oh, I'm thinking like t-shirts or shoes because we
Yeah,
used to buy
yeah.
each other like clothes.
Uh,
No, no, I get a whole bunny in a box, and I'm like,
how
what
big
am I
is it?
supposed to do?
When you first get it? What? Yeah, how do you parent a rabbit? But how big was it when you first got it?
So Thumper originally, when I first got him, was like a good size, but now he's like about the size of my chest. Like he's gotten huge.
Oh, so what does he eat? Is he a drain
So
on your
he
expenses?
no, like rabbit food's actually not that bad. Like there's a huge bag of pellets, but then I also am extra and like to buy him hay and treats and all that
Mm-hmm.
jazz. And then he has like a water bowl that's cute and I think's adorable. The only
Do you
thing
let?
though is like he likes to push over like his food and stuff and spill it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's the worst.
Does he? Do you let him roam free
Yeah, my
with the
bunny's a
dogs?
free roam bunny.
Oh, so there's no like. So when you leave, like to go out for the evening or for the day, the bunny can go wherever it wants.
He mostly stays in my room just so I can like keep track of him. But
Yeah,
he
sure.
like will waddle around the house and like go play with the dogs and stuff. And we have a litter box in my room, so most of the time he just stays in here because his litter box is
So
in here and he
close.
doesn't have accidents
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
downstairs or
that's great.
anything.
And can you sleep with a bunny at night, like like you could a dog or a cat?
So I have so like Thumper will like relax, but he doesn't like to really cuddle up. And I move
Okay.
a lot in my sleep, so he'll try to like go at the end of the bed and he's like, please don't touch me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Does he seem like he's grateful that you rescued him from a pet store or somewhere?
So like at times he's very, very like, oh, I love you. And then other
Uh-huh.
times he like attacks me and I'm like, what are you doing?
Like with like using his teeth attacking?
No, so I like mess around with my bunny. Like I will
Uh-huh.
pretend to do wrestling moves to my bunny, and my bunny has learned to do it back to me.
Oh
And like I'll
wow.
do it jokingly, and he's like, no, and will like stand up on his hind legs.
Next thing you know, you're in a figure four.
Yes, yes, my bunny's gonna be able to like shoot on me by the end of this.
And how,
He,
yeah, totally. You're not going to have a bunny by the end of this. Do you have to? What's like the? Does it get sick often? What do you have? How do you take care of it, like medically? Just take it to a vet.
really, I don't have to do much. Like it's like having a dog or a cat.
Uh huh.
They're kind of just chilling. They hang out, and you feed them. And sometimes they love you, sometimes they don't.
Do you have to get a rabbit spayed? Like, is there a? Do they ask you to do that because there's a lot of rabbits? Not that I
So
condone
I
that.
I got my rabbit neutered.
Okay, yeah,
And
neuters. Everywhere is.
he was like, oh, not very happy, and he was on like sleeping meds, so he was just like chilling the entire time. But when
Oh,
he like
okay.
came back home and he like rested for a day, you could see that he had more energy and was like more fired up because he's just hopping around and he
Oh,
would jump
that's fun.
higher than normal. I'm like, what are you doing?
So this was a good purchase over COVID or the pandemic. Do you think you would have gotten one if there wasn't a pandemic?
I really don't think so. Like, I
Mm,
don't think if we didn't shut down, I wouldn't have another bunny because I just think with how busy my schedule usually is, I wouldn't even
uh-huh.
think about it.
Do you does he look like he tastes good? Have you ever eaten rabbit before?
I have never eaten rabbit. But
Don't
like
go
my
to,
dad has made jokes about it and like other people, and I'm like, I don't think I could ever eat rabbit now because of how much I love my bunny.
yeah,
And like I've
don't
gone this long without it. So
don't go to German restaurants, especially don't bring your rabbit to German restaurants because that's gonna be a long night. Um, so that was nice that that happened over COVID though. Was there any other like silver lining for this past year in your life?
I've had like a lot going on for me. Like I've been doing school online, so I've been able to travel more for wrestling on the weekends. So
Oh,
that's
cool.
made my life a lot easier. And then I had more time for video games, so I got
Oh,
really,
nice.
really into Call of Duty, the Warzone, and Cold War, and I've been grinding at that. Even though I haven't finished the story mode for Cold War yet, I was like, I need to sit down and finish it.
What system are you using?
I'm an Xbox One, and all my friends are PS 4 and 5, so they're like, you gotta switch over.
Oh, because there's no because you can't play online against.
So there is cross-platform, but
Okay.
when you play cross-platform, there's more cheaters, and they're like, we don't want to deal with
Oh,
this.
okay, okay. Yeah, I used to love playing Call of Duty until like my kids came into the picture. But I like to say we all make mistakes. But yeah, I have an Xbox One, and they're bugging me to get the PlayStation 5. So I might be in the same boat as you. Um, okay, so yeah, I did see you. You'd still worked a bunch, compared to other people in 2020. Do you pretend there wasn't a pandemic? Do you ever get to take like a vacation or time off?
I once in a while will take like a week or two off, but usually in those like week or two, I'm going to see like my family or my friends, or like I had like school stuff I wanted to do, but that's
Yeah.
like my time off really. But when
Hmm.
like the school year ends, I usually have a lot more time during the week. I
Uh,
just go and work out and get ready for the weekend.
was when was the last vacation you went? Like where you left your state?
uh Technically, like the last like vacation was when I was down in Mania weekend, but I was still wrestling. But it
Okay.
was so nice to like go to an Airbnb and go swimming with my friends and stuff.
Oh, that's
Or when I went to GCW for Atlantic City, but we didn't get to stay for long, so I don't really count it as a vacation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know what? You need to go on a vacation where at no point you're getting paid. You know what I mean? To do anything like to wrestle or anything. So like let's go to little Billy. When you were growing up, did you have a big family?
So my family is literally just my mom, Mouse, who's my stepfather, and then my
Uh-huh.
little brother. And then we have like my grandma and stuff, but we don't
Sure.
really see them often other than like Thanksgiving and like the
Yeah,
holidays.
yeah. The tradition was that you have to feel guilty if you don't see them.
Yes.
Um,
My
did
grandma during COVID was so mad at us. She was like, we have to see each other. And my mom's like, no.
Yeah, no, I mean you could kill like anyone that has grand in front of their prefix, you could kill them this year, this past year. You don't want to see them.
Well, we finally
So
went by and like waved at her through like the windows and stuff, and she's like, "I want to come outside," and we're like, "No."
did you know for the last my grandfather last April turned 100 and then this past April turned 101. We haven't been able to celebrate because we
That's
don't want
so
to again like kill him accidentally. Like let him go up naturally at this point. Um, so your stepdad and your mom, did you have a good relationship with like your stepdad, for example?
Yes, my stepfather was who introduced me into wrestling and like made me fall in love with this world.
Oh, he sounds awesome. Is he
Yeah.
adopting like 45-year-old men at this point?
I
Ask
don't
about it.
think
You can
so.
always email me. Was your mother into wrestling prior to meeting your stepfather?
No, my mom was never really a fan of wrestling. She really isn't now, but she likes like when I'm doing it and she's like, "Oh,
Uh,
I like you and your friends, but I really don't care about everybody else."
is this a case where, and I say this to my wife just because I watch wrestling, I'm not a professional wrestler, that she actually knows more than most people do and she doesn't know it. Like my wife could name 10 wrestlers, but she doesn't follow wrestling. It's just, she hears and stuff. Is that the case with your mom? Like, so she kind of knows what's going on?
I think that's like the best way to relate it. Like she really likes when she can get involved with my stuff. Like she likes the gear designing and like
Oh,
marketing and like merch. So she'll get really into that stuff because she's like, oh,
uh,
this is kind of fun, and I get to have like she's very like artistic and creative.
oh, sure. That's a huge part of it. Did
Yeah.
is your mother naturally blue? Does she like dye it like blonde or black or brown?
My mom does a lot of natural hair colors. Like she did red at one point, but it's mostly been like brown. Right now she has like a peekaboo hair thing where it's silver on the backside and then on top it's like a brown.
Can I ask a dumb male question?
Go ahead.
Does it hurt bleaching your hair? Like, does it sting at all? Or
So
not
like
bleaching, excuse me. Color, dyeing it.
so dyeing my hair, I don't feel anything. It's when I have to like bleach my roots and stuff.
Okay.
You'll feel it like burn a little bit, but my hair is luckily really, really nice where it
Oh,
changes really quickly.
uh-huh.
So it will like take well to the bleach. So I have to not do it as long as most people.
No, it really does look like how like Gamora from from Avengers. It looks natural. It really
Oh,
does. It's like you came from like another planet, a good planet. But it looks okay. So we've identified your mom's not naturally blue. Um, as a kid, what was your personality like? Did you have like a lot of friends, or just few, introverted?
I've been told that I'm very like outgoing, but I'm also very awkward. So like I just do me most of the time.
Uh-huh.
Um, so like I was always just the kid always hanging around, but I was willing to talk to people because I
Okay.
wanted to know like what's going on. How can you help me? Like whenever I was around wrestling, I wanted to be like, "Hey, how'd you get into this? Oh, who are you trained by?" This is me trying to like get questions to see like, okay, do I like their wrestling? Do I want to get trained by the same people? How are their story going? So I can
Oh,
see
okay.
later in my life if I can like follow that path somewhat.
So it's a good system you have.
Yeah.
So what were things besides wrestling, which we'll get into in a second? What were like things that like made you happy as a child?
Oh, I love like painting and I love
Mhm.
doing it when I was little too. Um,
Did your mom like kind of push you in that direction? Not in a negative way.
no, she was always like very like just try whatever you want. I'm here to
Mhm.
support you. Both of my parents have always been really supportive of like it's your life, have fun.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I
Um,
was really really lucky for like the support system I have.
yeah, it sounds like it. I still want to get in with this stepfather. So prior to your stepdad, had you heard of wrestling before or seen it?
No, like I was a very like I don't think I was watching much television at the time. Like I would always
Okay.
be like drawing and like doing my
Uh-huh.
schoolwork. But other than that, I like really didn't watch much TV. And then like I never knew about wrestling. And then he came into my life and we watched Criminal Minds and wrestling. And like in my head, I made up at one point that I wanted to be like an ice cream truck driver, criminal investigator, and a professional wrestler. And then I
All the
settled
same
on
time.
professional wrestler.
Oh, that is so funny. And like, does it bring him joy that like would you guys watch regularly together? Like, Monday nights and such?
Yeah, like I just remember us hanging out on the couch and watching Monday Night Raw, and then when like he introduced me to independent wrestling, we would go to
Mhm.
shows together all the time. And he's a photographer, so once he got like a newer camera, I got the old camera and was able to go and like take pictures with him, and we're having a great time with that.
Like at ringside?
He would do ringside most of the time. I would do promos
Oh,
because
wow.
like I would not get in the way because
Yeah, yeah.
every time I was ringside, I would always like get distracted and put down my camera.
So you got a really good taste of like wrestling business kind of, as a child.
hmm
So are you like how do I word this? Like if I watched wrestling and had that with my stepdad growing up, I'd be like, oh my God, that's gold. I love that. Can you appreciate like that now?
I love like everything I was able to do, and I really appreciate it because I
Uh-huh.
feel like it just set me up for now. Because it
Yeah.
just like wrestling makes sense in my head. Like it's like starting to click now that I've started to do it, and I was like, oh, this person said this. This makes sense now.
Do you ever like say to yourself, you've trained, you've been in the ring, like, oh my God, I'm a professional wrestler. I did it. Like, do
It
you ever
does
feel
like
that and like take pride in that?
it like hits you with like starstruck sometimes. You're just like,
Yeah.
this is really happening right now. This is wild.
That's what I said. And I tell my wife this. She's a dancer, so she, performs not as much as she's gotten older, obviously, but uh, she's not in her 70s or anything. But I always say, like, is it a great feeling having like people like applaud for you or applaud or boo or get a reaction out of people? Is that like a nice feeling?
I literally get so excited when I get the reactions that I wanted from something.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things of like, oh, I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's working.
Uh-huh. That's and did like is it weird knowing that there's some person in Tennessee or there's a person in Utah who's a fan of yours? Not someone that like a friend who's a fan. Like there's just some random person that loves watching your matches. Do you ever think about that?
It's really, really weird to me that like I can go to different things and people already know me, even though I've never been to that state before. And I'm sitting there like, dang, this is wild. Like I haven't been here before, but people showed up for me.
Yeah, I imagine it's a great feeling. I obviously have no one's ever applauded for me, but I'm still trying to find something that I'm good at. So I would say another 30 years left. Um, okay, so at what point in this growing up did you say, "Oh, I'd like to try my hand at this"? Do you remember kind of the time or the moment that it clicked to you?
I was like very, very young, but
Mhm.
like I think my mind was set after I started cheerleading, and I was
Okay.
cheerleading from like the like I want to say like fourth grade that I
Okay.
wanted to be a professional wrestler because I did cheerleading for wrestling. In my head, it would help me with like body control
Oh,
and like just
cool.
getting in better
Footwork.
shape. And then when I got to middle school, I started doing cross country because I was like, oh, it'll give me better cardio for when I do get in the
Oh,
ring.
wow. So that was very well thought out from a young age, like to get those like skills or powers. So you just did other girls or guys on the cheerleading team know that you wanted to become a wrestler or what your intentions were?
So my coach knew about it, and then like
Uh-huh,
some of the people on my team knew that I went to like shows and stuff, but I don't
uh-huh,
think it really they understood until I
okay.
had like my first match, and then they came to it and watched it, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Had your friends ever seen that side of you before, like the
I'm
wrestler?
I'm like very open with like what I love and like
Uh-huh,
this is what I'm doing. So like when it first happened, I lost a few people because I wasn't there to like hang out and like be there
sure.
for everybody. But when I like was just myself, I had a lot of stronger friendships with people because they stayed and understood like, oh, this is she's doing what she loves. So like I think I'm very open about it and it's like
Mhm.
this is really cool and most of the time I get really, really good reactions about it. And every time I go to see my friends, they're like, so how'd your match go this weekend? Do you get beat up?
Do you think that you could take any of your friends, not your non-wrestler friends, if there was a fight, if it came down to it, there's some alcohol involved, maybe, no
My
problem.
friends joke about that stuff all the time. They're like, you're going to beat me up and I don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, I
Like,
am not going to beat you guys.
is your best friend a pro wrestler?
No,
Okay.
her name is Lily. She goes to my high school with me and I've known her since middle school. But she's not a professional wrestler.
Okay. How long would you think it would take? Would it take under 2 seconds for you to get her onto the ground?
Oh
Like she's
yes, most
standing?
definitely.
Okay, okay.
She's like a lot shorter than me, And then she's a dancer, so like she's like, I gotta protect myself. I'm not going to try to fight her.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever kind of once in a while, just to keep her in check, kind of do something a little aggressive just to remind her of her space in this relationship? That you're the heavy
I
and
really
she's
never really have to. Like we
okay.
joke about that stuff, but I have no reason to. I was trying to teach her how to do like 450s on a trampoline, and she just sees me rotating around. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Did you know how to do a flip prior to doing the first flip you've ever done? Because I always wondered, I don't think I could get my body to do it.
It's more just like just trusting yourself, and I feel like on a
Okay.
trampoline, I've always had like a trampoline in my backyard, so I would just toss my body around.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
cheerleading helped me a lot with it of just like learning how to control my body.
Oh, okay.
So I was just very comfortable with it once I started like knowing what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. So cheerleading, then there's cross country. What point did you say, okay, I need to, I want to find a trainer? And then, like, did you recruit anybody, like, your parents or something to help you, get into it?
So it kind of just fell in my lap. Like my original plan was to go to college and then find a wrestling school near my college. And then we were joking with Madman Pondo one night, me and my parents, and he was like, just go talk to Too Tough. He owns a school. So we talked to Too Tough Tony, and he was like, here are the training classes. This is how much it would be. And I'm like looking at my mom like, this is really happening. This is wild. um, and then I showed up at a training class, and I originally was supposed to just watch, and then they threw me in the ring, and they're like, okay, you can have fun.
What do you
We'll walk
come
through some
wearing
drills.
for like this first training? Like, what do you have to get gear, or can you just use like shorts or whatever?
Just like workout clothes.
Okay,
You're supposed to have like, uh, I'm blanking, like boots because it'll
sure.
protect your ankles and stuff. But I
Oh,
was
okay.
wearing like cheerleading shoes, so they're like just Velcro shoes, but they still have ankle support. So I was just
Oh,
wearing
they're not
those
like
because
those
they came
Keds
from,
that.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, and were you the night before day one of training? Were you able to eat or sleep?
I
Like, were
honestly
you
wasn't
nervous?
really freaked out about it at all. I was more like
Oh,
happy, because a lot of people talk about how they're super nervous when like this stuff is happening, but I think
yeah.
it as like a good thing of like, yeah, I'm excited, it's happening, it's happening. The same thing when it comes to like my wrestling matches. I really don't get nervous. I'm
Mm-hmm.
more like, okay, let's go have a fun time. Uh, and like I never really have like those butterflies in my stomach. I always just have like this energy.
Is it maybe because you were exposed to it so young and then had this plan for so long? Did can this is I'm gonna crowbar this in. Do you still watch wrestling as a fan?
I
Or
do.
can you watch wrestling as a fan?
It's a lot different than when I first started watching wrestling, and it
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot more to grab my attention and truly make me like care and be emotional about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's some people who still are like that great of a wrestler and can do that for me.
Uh-huh.
Um, but like I sometimes will like I always say this that like I love backyard wrestling because it
Hmm.
doesn't do anything that I expect it to do.
Okay.
So it like grabs my attention fully because I'm like, they're unpredictable. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna
For
do.
sure. For sure. And so how long between day one of training and first match?
About 6 months, which I was really, really surprised. Like I thought I was going to train for a lot longer before I had my first match.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like crazy to me. And originally my first match was supposed to be on the pre-show,
Uh-huh.
versus another girl who it was going to be her debut match, who has been training with me. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Like, is that more
Then
is that nerve wracking? Like someone who's new, or is it kind of like, okay, this is someone we're at the same level. Let's go out and have fun.
I think I was comfortable with it because I've trained with her. And
Okay.
then like I was prepared. Like in my head, I was like, if anything happens, I know what I need to do. Because like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
would have practice matches, and it was like I'm familiar with her, so I knew I'd be okay.
So like going to the ring, you knew what you wanted to do. You know, knew what kind of story you guys were going to tell. Did you were you able to focus on the audience during that first match at all?
I feel like it was almost like a surreal moment. Like I felt like I was living in like a video game where you're
Hmm.
just like it, like it was
Oh
so
wow.
strange, and it was like still I remember it. Like it's all like these noises, and it's like, oh, this is crazy. It's happening.
Did you ever get one of the like WWE 2K games? Have you ever owned one?
Yes, we have like a few of
Have,
them.
have you made yourself?
I have not made myself. I've had people like make me, but I've never tried to like make myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet I could download. I mean, I bet there's a couple different versions for you that you could be downloaded. All right, just wanted to know. Just wanted to know. Um, have you watched your first match again?
I've watched it a few times and like it's very cringy for me. Like
Oh, okay.
people like talk about it and like they're like there's good and bad that comes with it. But I
Uh-huh.
just remember watching it and I'm like, because I'm just like this chubby little kid and I'm like I'm glad I finally like started working out and getting in better shape.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have to like really change your like lifestyle outside the ring as far as like eating and exercising? Was it like a dramatic change or you did that anyways?
So like I'm terrible about my eating habits. My
Hmm.
personal trainer like hates me for it. Like I literally ate Popeyes before getting on this after going to boxing and like later I'm going to weightlifting.
Did you have that chicken sandwich?
I've had the chicken sandwich before and I love it, but I actually got like the four-piece combo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I got it. I haven't tried that chicken sandwich. Everyone tells me I should, but one day, it's a bucket list thing. I want to go to the
You
States.
gotta
And I
try
want
it
to,
because you're gonna fall in love with it.
oh, really? See, I
Yeah.
had the one at my mom for some reason said you should try the chicken sandwich at McDonald's. It was really good. All right, we'll do a fast food episode some other time. Um, do you have IWTV?
I do.
And is that kind of cool? Like having like this place you can go, television, people pay for it, and you can see all your stuff or most of it, a lot of it.
I love like going on there and just like looking back about like some of my old matches. I know a lot of people write down like their matches and what number they're at,
Sure.
and I never like thought about that until it was like too late. I was like, "Oh, I'm already like a year in and I was never writing down my matches." So like I always say if it's not on video, it didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Could you name if I asked you, or uh, everyone you've been in the ring with,
I can
opponent wise?
make it pretty far. Like
Oh, okay.
I have like I don't know why. Like I can almost like look at dates and then go back and be like, okay, I wrestled these people on like these days.
Oh, okay.
It's really strange. Like I can remember my matches and like what like the beginning was, like what was like little stuff that happened.
Sure.
And I don't know why, but it's just like something that clicks for me. I was like, oh, this makes sense.
And is it stressful? Well, two things. These are two things. Is it stressful, A, booking yourself, and two, a kind of competing with people that you're friends with, other wrestlers that like are your friends, competing for.
So I really have a lot of help from my family when it comes to like figuring out what like my booking stuff is.
Uh,
So my mom is like a momager and like will
oh,
be like,
awesome.
"Oh, you're free that date. Do you want to do it? Okay, let's talk to them."
That's great to
And
have.
then like I don't really think of it as competing with my friends. I
Hmm.
think it's just us all working for a spot, but it's at the end of the day the promoter's choice of who they want to use. And I think it
Hmm.
makes us like push each other a little bit further each time of like, okay, I'm right here. You better catch up.
Yeah. So like when you were first starting, do you go out looking for bookings? Like or no one's coming to you at this point, or do they come to you?
So since I
Promoters.
did photography before I did wrestling, I knew a lot of people and they were willing to give me opportunities. So like they were giving me like these chances, and then I would be able to prove my worth, and then they would bring me back. So I got really, really lucky in the beginning because of the people I knew, and people were willing to like vouch for me and saying that I was trying and I'm trying to get better. So I had a lot of people putting their neck out on the line for me. And luckily I was able to show out and prove that it was worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you ever get have you ever gotten like like down about wrestling?
It's more like I get frustrated with wrestling. It's not like a much down. Like the only time I really had a down about wrestling was during like the lockdown, and it was because I wasn't able to wrestle or like be in front of people. I was like, I just want to wrestle a show. But luckily I was one of those people who could still go to like trainings and stuff. So I was able to train during the lockdown, and I know a lot of people couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
But like I get frustrated with wrestling because in my head I like know that I'm picking up at a fast pace, but sometimes it's like I feel like I'm stuck in like this box, and I'm like, I want to go further than this.
Yeah. What would you do you think that's hon, I'll come back to this question. I forgot something. Is it fun? Do you design your ring gear?
I do. Like I have like these little drawing templates. I actually posted it on my social media a while ago of like people so they could just like try and sketch stuff out. But most of the time I'm just like drawing on pieces of paper because I get an idea.
Yeah. Like so you're not walking around with like colored pencils and a little notepad at all times.
Oh, not at all times. There's one being worked on right now, and it's like, hey mom, I have this idea, and she's like, what is this? Like, spell this out for me.
And do you get like, does the same person make your ring gear? Like,
yes. So I've been going to Isaiah's, which is I hate saying his thing because I'm gonna say it wrong.
Okay.
But like if you look at my posts, he gets tagged in most of the stuff that has my gear in it.
Okay.
And I love his work, and he does really, really well, and he makes my ideas like come to life because I'm kind of crazy, and I'm like, here's like the type of logos I want on it, here's like the fabrics, and I try to make it as like easy as possible, but I know I'm so extra at times.
Are boots included, or do you wear the same ones?
I wear the same ones. I wear boxing boots because I just like how they're flexible. And I can move a lot more in them, but they still give me really, really good support. Same thing with like my kick pads and my knee pads. Those are all like mine that like don't change. When I get new sets of gear, I just get new knee pad and kick pad covers. And then I'll get a top and shorts.
How many pieces, tops and shorts combinations do you have?
Right now I have the Juice World, I have the cow, I have my purple, and I have my green. So that's 4.
Is there something on the horizon that you would like to reveal to the United States of America and the world right now? Is there another piece of ring gear in the works?
Everyone's dying to know. But I'm not going to give any spoilers just yet.
No, this wouldn't be the place to do it.
No,
I mean, I might tell like my children, but that's as far as it's going to go. They don't like call us weekly or people or anything, so you're safe. Okay, the last kind of wrestling related question. What's the best part about being a professional wrestler in your life?
I feel like it's just being able to travel and meet so many people and just bringing joy to other people. And like just bringing forth emotions that you didn't know that you could feel because of a wrestling match.
Does it feel like you have a power? You're able to
Yes. Yes, it does. Awesome. Like it's like that little superpower that you're like, oh my God, clicked into it.
Do you ever wear a cape? Like around the house and stuff?
No. I will drag around my ladybug blanket though, as if it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Before I let you go, can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related yes or no questions? And you don't need to elaborate. You can just say yes or no if you want. All right. Have you ever grown up on a beautiful undiscovered island of only women and you're trained to be a fierce warrior and they also give you a lasso and a private jet? Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Okay. Can you cry on command?
Yes.
You can. Wow. When did you realize that you could do that?
Because of theater, I do theater classes. I actually do it
Oh,
in my matches sometimes if I feel like it calls for it.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
will sometimes just be like, okay, I feel like it's time, so I'll do it.
Another superpower. Like that, a lot of people. I wanted to learn how to hypnotize people, but not tell anyone. But I could probably get arrested for $445,000. Would you, at bedtime, sleep in a closed coffin for the rest of your life? You could take a nap on a couch, but the coffin is where you have to get your, 6 to 8 hours or however much sleep you get.
Do I get to like bring my dogs and stuff in there to sleep with me?
I was going to say a stuffed animal or two, but if there's not a demand for oxygen in there, yeah, you could bring the rabbit or one of the dogs in, I imagine.
I think I would put up with it. I think I
And
would
you'd have $445,000.
exactly.
Okay.
I can get a pretty spacious coffin.
Yes. I mean, you get one for like the chubby checker head, and that's spacious. Like that has
Yeah.
rooms in it. Okay. Would you ever consider dyeing your tongue blue?
No.
Okay. And finally, you're 4 for 4 so far. Is there somebody, you don't have to name them, who you would say is your arch enemy?
No.
Cheese and tomatoes are mine. Okay, nothing. Okay.
Mm.
Billie, thank you again coming on a Thursday afternoon and letting this stay-at-home dad have something to do. My day will only go downhill from here because this was the top I was working towards. But thank you so much. And do you have any bookings coming up?
Yes, actually, I'll be in Athens, Georgia, this weekend on May 8th, and then I'll be at Squared Circle in Indianapolis for the
Wow.
2-day event. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's all that's really coming up right now.
Who are you wrestling for in Georgia?
I'm wrestling Charlie Punk in Georgia for Southern Violence in Wrestling.
Oh, cool. All right. I've seen their stuff on IWTV. All right. Again, I've said this 50 times. Thank you so much. And stay healthy and safe. And hopefully we can get you on again down the road.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Okay, I'm glad. All right, Billie, you take care.